This is The Gorge, the podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month you gain access to not one, but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where Ben and I decide we don't feel like playing anything, so we just talk over it instead. And $2 gets you a bunch of stuff. It gets you a bunch of stuff. It gets you a bunch of stuff. It gets you content.
It gets you the mystery box.
That's right.
We're going to do something with the four of us once a month.
You know, be it That's Hell You're Walking Into, or Praetorian Pals, or Boja Buddies, or whatever dumb thing kind of comes into our head, or even if it's just like a bonus episode. Listen,
yeah,
it's $2 a month. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You know?
You get a bonus episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
For $2 a month.
So that's it. That's what you get.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's patreon.com/thegorge.
I was trying to think of what we could title that, but there's really it is just like a grab bag.
It's a grab bag.
Yeah, just whatever. Yeah.
It's a grab bag. It's a la carte. It's whatever you know.
It's a la carte. That's a good title, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually really good.
You're welcome. Yeah. It's a la carte. You get what you get, you know? So
when we're done, I'm gonna rename the $2 tier to that.
Great. You're welcome. I'm so smart. See? I have amazing ideas all the time. Anyways, hey, It's a roundup episode.
It is. What have you been doing, Sara?
Not much beyond we finished G-Witch.
Yeah, we did.
We finished G-Witch. I've played Zelda, but again, that's something I can't really talk about. I haven't played FF16 yet. Mm-hmm. So other than because the two big things are Zelda. I played a little bit more Signalis, but I didn't get very far. You ever get in that kind of habit where you just kind of bebop around a lot of little things and never get very far into any of them to speak authoritatively on them?
You haven't made any significant progress enough that you're like, ooh, I gotta mention this, but it's just I've been putzing and because I think I've hit the point in Zelda where it's like, hey, go fight Ganondorf, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I probably need a few more food recipes and I don't know, maybe I should upgrade my armor a little bit more.
Yeah.
I guess.
I'm definitely in that, zone of, I need to get back to playing Zelda, and I have been kind of putzing. I'll turn it on and play for an hour. Mm-hmm. But you have to get into, the right mindset to play a big kind of directionless game like that. Right? Because, I'll go into Zelda and I'll start playing for a little bit, and it's just well, you can kind of do anything, and it's the choice paralysis kind of locks you down.
It's it's the same thing you do when you start Fallout 4 again, and you're just well, I don't know, I'm just gonna... I don't know if it's choice paralysis, because I'm doing stuff.
Sure, yeah.
It's just, I'm just not committed to any of it.
Right. I'm just, I said, I'm bebopping around, you know? Yeah. That's kind of it.
I feel like once the four of us decide, okay, we're doing the Tears of the Kingdom episode this week.
Then I'll actually sit down and, burn through. I'll spend a whole weekend playing it, basically. Yeah,
that's what we need to be all right, I gotta get this shit done.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, other than that, I mean, we finished G-Witch. I guess that's the big thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Is, G-Witch ended on Sunday, and it was okay. I mean, the ending was fine.
It was, and I don't know how it stacks against every other Gundam,
Yeah, I've never watched a full Gundam in my life, except for Wing, so,
you ever do the thing where, there's, a big, long series that, with multiple iterations of it, and you only watch the one, and it's I thought it was pretty good, and the fan base that one was the worst one.
Yeah.
And I'm oh, I'm sorry, I did it wrong.
Yeah, no, I definitely I can see how it was rushed. It definitely feels like it was extremely rushed. But because season 2 just flies, right? It goes so fast.
There were a lot of characters that probably didn't need to be there, and it feels like they were going to be something, and then they weren't able to be anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it's just kind of like everybody just kind of feels so underutilized to a certain extent. But, like, the character writing that's in G-Witch is really good, and I like all those characters.
Yeah, no, I was rooting for the characters, and they got what they needed at the end.
Yeah, it was kind of like the ending was a little too tidy, like a little too happy, but also I don't care.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like, well, I know how this usually goes, so hey, we can get a win like this.
Mm-hmm. Usually it's a lot more abysmal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I came away from G-Witch. That's like an 8 out of 10 show with kind of a 7 out of 10 finale, you know?
I feel like my biggest problem with the ending was that I didn't really feel like, and I don't know much. The only Gundams I've watched to completion are G Gundam and 8th MS Team.
Oh boy, you've really run the gamut.
And I'm like, I kind of expected more of a fight at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There wasn't really a lot of combat in this Gundam anime.
Yeah.
Like, compared to what I would assume other Gundam series are like that are more about, war.
Well, we know, so the average episode of anime takes about, like, if they're crunching 7 to 8 weeks, usually more like 9 to 10. By some accounts on Twitter, it sounds like they were given 2 to 4 weeks per episode.
Yeah.
You know what's really hard to animate?
Fight scenes!
Giant robots fighting. You know what's really easy to animate? People just sitting around and talking.
Yeah. It's kind of why I feel like the actual final thing that Suletta did was kind of just like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, it's over.
She pressed the power button on the thing instead of like fighting it.
Yeah, so
It is
all
what it is.
It is what it is. Ultimately, I came away liking most of the show. All of the characters I like survived. Everybody got a W except for Shadiq. Sorry. Yeah. My boy deserved better, but what are you gonna do? Like, but ultimately, I came away liking G-Witch a lot, right? It was nice to just watch a Gundam anime. I hadn't watched Gundam in years and years and years, and so it's like, oh, okay, well, sure. And so it was fine. I came going. G-Witch was good. I'm glad I watched it. I'm gonna miss Suletta Sundays a lot.
I would recommend it to someone.
Sure, absolutely. Even barring its kind of like little week ending. Like, I still think it's a good show. It's a show that still looks pretty good from start to finish. Has a lot of very charming characters and a lot of really fun designs and stuff and some good moments. And they get married at the end of the show. What do you want from me? Yeah,
that's what else. That's what we wanted from episode 1.
Literally from episode 1, I wanted Mirine and Suletta to get married, and they got married. Really, what this show needs is an OVA that's set in that 3-year time period.
Yes.
Like, between the end and the epilogue, because I just want to see them get married. And if we got that, the show would absolutely skyrocket to a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Give me an OVA where I actually get to see that wedding and I'm happy.
Kind of like how the OVA for Future Diary elevates at like 2.5 points.
Yeah. I mean, like, Future Diary, we've talked extensively about extremely bad anime Future Diary. Yes. A show that nobody should watch, even though we both like it a lot. Future Diary is like trash. Like, it's garbage and nobody should watch it. But it's also like the example of a show's ending, like carrying that whole fucking show.
Future Diary is a series where I would talk to it for someone and I'd be like, I liked it, and they'd be like, should I watch it? And I'll be like, you can watch it, but you can't blame me.
You can watch Future Diaries, but if you come to me and you say, hey, what the fuck, at any point in that middle section of the show where it becomes like the trashiest anime you've ever seen in your life, don't come talk to me. Do not acknowledge me. That's on you. I'm here to warn you right now. Future Diary sucks, but I kind of love... On my anime list, on my anime list, I should say, I have it as like a 7 out of 10, but like, if somebody asked me, like, do you just want to sit down and just watch like a trashy anime? I'm like, have I got the show for you.
I got the series for you.
I have got the perfect shitty show for you.
It's that same thing as like Steam, like would not recommend on Steam. Hour count 130.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, G-Witch is good. I would recommend it to people.
It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Yeah. So yeah. But that's kind of like the only substantial thing I have to really talk about. Like, again, the other stuff I have to talk about is there was going to be an episode about it. So Zelda. Or I don't want to spend $70 on Final Fantasy 16 yet. Yeah. So that's kind of where I am right now. So we're gonna talk about FF16 because it's basically Revengeance 2, according to everybody with the brainstem.
Yes.
So I'm gonna have to play it.
The thing I would mention to Sarah off camera is, are we gonna do a 16 episode?
Yes.
And the end, like, because like, is it good? Are we gonna the potential of us being like, this is garbage, we're abandoning it? It was there.
It's
based
super
on what
high.
we had seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was always the question of, are we actually going to do a 16 episode? So,
I will say, judging from everything I've seen on Twitter and everything you've talked to me about it, this show was... I'm still in G-Witch mode. This game was extraordinarily poorly marketed.
Absolutely. Ridiculously poorly marketed.
Right? Like, they made it look like they wanted it to be The Witcher, and it's just Devil May Cry.
They did not do a good job of reflecting the actual tone of the game.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, so I have my first impressions of it. Really quick, just to springboard off of G-Witch, though, I did also on stream play Zone of the Enders 1 and 2.
Oh, that's right. That was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. I really, really like Zone of the Enders.
Zone of the Enders 1 is like, whatever. I watched you play that one, and I didn't have a lot to say about it while I was watching it, because I was just like, this is fine.
Because there's not a lot to say.
There's not a lot to say about it. Zoe 2 fucking kicks ass.
Zoe.
What a great game.
I'm so fucking mad every single day of my life. Like
there's never going to be a third one.
When we finished the Zoe 2 stream, like the last episode... For the next, 4 days, I was kind of depressed because there was no more Zoe left.
There's no more Zoe left. The thing is that, I was watching you play Zoe 2, and, one, that game still looks great, right? Mm-hmm. And two, that includes, it's absolutely phenomenal anime cutscenes and talk sprites.
Yeah. Oh my god, those look so good.
They still look so good. They are purest distillation of aesthetic, right?
That was if you were to throw every anime that aired on Adult Swim from 2004 to 2008.
God, that's totally it. Yes.
Just everything that was on Adult Swim in that time period, threw it into a blender and put it in a giant robot. That's Zoe 2's aesthetic.
It's so good. We were talking about it on stream, but I'll bring it up here. Thor High Heels talks a lot about the PS3 aesthetic, which is that very specific kind of glossiness and fonts choices, very wide sans serif fonts choices and stuff like that. And Zoe 2 is that on the PS2. And it's fantastic. It's running off the same engine as Metal Gear Solid 2, a game that I think is kind of ugly and bland looking. But Zoe 2 is none of that. It has such a cool, distinct style, this kind of pseudo cel shaded look with colored lighting and just really interesting designs all over. Great game. Absolutely fantastic.
Dingo's one of the best mecha pilot.
The funniest main character ever. Just tells people to shut up constantly.
I love him. He is so abrasive to everyone he meets. It's great. It is Zoe 1 and 2 is a lot like if Raiden were the protagonist of the first game and then you played a snake in the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Just delightful. I am so mad that there is not more of this. I love Leo is basically the Simone, starting off as this weak-willed kind of cowardly child protagonist, then growing up into his own hot-blooded shonen pilot.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Dingo's great. All the villains are delightfully campy and hammy. mobile or orbital frames are the coolest giant robots of all time.
Jehudi and Anubis kick ass.
They're fantastic designs. I'm looking over right now and I'm seeing the half-finished Jehudi model that I bought and I'm working on.
Yeah, it's great.
It's such a shame that Zoe 3 never happened.
Zoe 3 fucking never. Sequel fucking never is
I know.
Is the motto of all of this, right?
Yeah.
Goddamn. How tragic.
But no, 16 though. I've put a couple hours into 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that game was horribly mismarketed.
Oh yeah.
They were trying to split the difference between it being like Game of Thrones and also kaiju battles.
Right, and focused way too hard on the Game of Thrones part.
Yeah. I'm still not... I'm not entirely sold on the aesthetic yet.
Sure.
But they are giving me hints at oh, here's an actual design for a character, instead of it being here's a guy in armor and he has a sword. You're getting a little bit
bit of res, if you will.
One of the things that they do that I don't think was even really shown in the trailers at all is that you'll see a dude light a cigar with his fingertip because he can cast a fire spell.
Oh, nice.
And it's oh, that's what I want. I want the fantasy,
right,
of the world. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is, and the actual tone and the narration and stuff is a little bit Game of Thrones, but it's way more action game, in aesthetic and presentation.
Sure.
And the kaiju battles are correctly destructive.
Ooh,
that,
fun!
The first thing you do is kind of the first hint you get is a battle between Shiva and Titan, and they're both sides of their army are summoning or getting their guy to summon, to transform into the icon, and Titan is just walking and he's crushing his own soldiers.
Oh, sure, because at that scale, yeah, of course, cool.
And it's there's nothing you can do about that.
Right.
These things will cause collateral damage.
Right, yeah, of course.
So yeah, it plays really, really well.
Yeah.
It's very, very solid. All the hits feel really, really good and impactful. You do a thing where you can end your combo with casting a point blank fire spell. Ooh. And it's basically a shotgun in your hand.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, yeah, I am gonna cop it this weekend after I get paid, because everything I hear about 16 is just oh, it's just Devil May Cry.
Yeah, it's
but not as hard.
It's a Devil May Cry light. It's
Devil May Cry light.
Light. You're not getting as many moves. But you're getting the core of it. You do get an enemy step.
Oh, good! Fantastic! Look at that. Yeah. You love to see it, folks.
So, you have that going for you.
Yeah, I guess, you can't be Devil May Cry because, again, kind of like when we were talking about with Hi-Fi Rush, when this is your first attempt to kind of do this correctly,
right?
It is almost impossible to go toe-to-toe with, the pinnacle of mechanical refinement that is DMC5, right? It's just DMC5 has just got so much more knowledge behind it, and this is just a good kind of attempt at making something similar, which is literal because they stole one of the combat directors from Capcom to make this game. So
now that you say that, though, I'm realizing that Hi-Fi Rush came out this year too.
Hi-Fi Rush did come out this year. I know this year's been crazy.
Are competitors?
They are contemporaries.
That's so weird.
I know. Hi-Fi Rush and Final Fantasy 16 are categorical contemporaries.
When I'm finished with 16, I'm gonna have to lean back in my chair and be is it better than Hi-Fi Rush?
Now, is it better than Hi-Fi Rush? Is the real question.
I don't
know.
I think right now, no.
Probably not.
It depends on what other icon abilities I get.
Right, yeah.
Because Hi-Fi Rush just played so perfect.
Yeah. And plus, I really like Hi-Fi Rush's aesthetic more than I like FF16's aesthetic.
As far as aesthetic goes, it blows FF16 clear out of the water.
Yeah, it's a little sad.
16, and I don't mean this derogatively. I mean I mean it neutrally. 16 looks like a Western game.
Sure.
And like everything from like the menus to like the way like the UI and like even like the subtitles are presented feels like a Western game. And like I don't know if I like that.
Sure.
I want it to look like it's a Japanese game.
Right.
I want it to look a little more anime than what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing, like, in all of the character designs, except for Clive himself, who is fantastic, right? Clive has a great design. But, like, every other character design I've seen in that game is just mid. Like, they're all super mid. There's nothing really, like, cool or inspiring or visually interesting about any of them. Nobody's hot. Like, everybody just looks super, like, boring and plain. Everyone keeps saying, like, oh, so-and-so is so hot. I'm like, I don't see it. None of these characters, again, except for Clive with his big heaving breasts and his sad, watery eyes. Who is, of course, perfect.
Right.
But, like, everybody else is just, like, these just look like people you'd see on Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
but, like,
it's
not nearly as good looking as, say, like, Nicholas Coster-Waldau or the chick who plays Cersei, whose name is suddenly leaving me right now. Anyway, the Lannister twins, right?
Yeah.
Like, nobody is as good looking as those two. So it's like, oh, okay. Lena Headey plays Cersei. Thank you. Anyways.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's just like, that's a really good way of putting it, is that nobody looks hot.
Nobody's hot. Everybody just kind of looks normal.
They look attractive.
Sure.
But
yeah, they're good looking, but there's nothing like really inspiring in those designs, right?
There ain't no Lulu running around this game.
No, exactly.
And sometimes you need a little bit of that.
Look, sometimes you need a little spice in your video game to, like, make the neurons activate. That's why people like video games.
Look, I go back and forth as to whether or not I even like Final Fantasy X. Okay?
Sure.
But that FMV where everyone's running away and Orin steps in and he lifts his arm so that his sleeve falls out.
Exactly. It's the hottest thing that's ever been in a video game ever. That's important.
That stayed with me for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those moments that's like, it's like an awakening. You're just like, I see.
I get it now. Okay.
You gotta have hotness in your video game, at least a little bit.
And speaking of 10, and this is like, if you're gonna be the studio that did FF14, okay, you can't have just guys, okay?
Yeah.
You need some people with pointy ears. You need some people with a tail, okay?
I know.
Horns, something, okay? They can't all just be humans.
They can't just all be guys running around. Like, the only time you can get away with that was, like, 7 and 8, and that's because of their setting. But, like, 7 and 8 then fall back on, like, the craziness of their settings, right? Like, the visual, like, wildness of, like, the worlds themselves, you know?
Yeah, like, Cloud has a giant sword. Barrett has a gun for an arm.
Sure.
In 8, everyone's swords have guns in them.
Yeah, and, like, the school can fly, you know?
There's stuff there.
There's a lot of weird, interesting visual design choices going on.
Hold on. 2, 3, 4... 2, 3... Those all had, like, elves and stuff in them, right? Like, the early ones.
Yeah.
Like, 1 had elves and dwarves and stuff, and the dwarves kind of went away for a while.
Yeah, 4... I think 4 has, like, elves and stuff in it. But again, like, those designs are also super crazy, too, because they're, like, Amano designs, so they're all, like, really wild. And it's like, that's the thing. You can have a game where it's all just dudes, but you have to compensate for the fact that it's all just dudes by having a lot of, like, visual craziness, right? Yeah. And so far, God loves 16, even if it is Devil May Cry. Like, I'm not seeing a lot of visual craziness here.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a very, very good game.
Sure.
And I don't like saying it doesn't look like a Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy by design has no, like, singular aesthetic.
Sure, of course.
But I'm still like, come on, man, you can't make it look like a more boring version than Dragon Age. Like, Dragon Age had big stone guys in it.
Dragon Age when Dragon Age 2 has a better, like, aesthetic than you, something's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, you gotta try again, man. You can't.
And these are the people who made FF14, who've got, like, big cat guys running around and shit. Like, I know that you stole a bunch of assets from Final Fantasy XIV to make that video game, Yoshi P.
Yeah.
I've seen your UI. You could have stolen the cat people, too.
You could have just put them in, okay? Come on.
Just put the fucking Hrothgar and the Mikote in the video game. Nobody would complain. We'd all be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, come on.
It's to the point where it's weird they're riding chocobos, because, like, that should be a horse.
It should just be a horse, yeah. Like, if you're going to put everything else in. The fact that there's Moogles in that game, but, like, nothing else is weird.
Yeah.
There's chocobos and Moogles, but, like, I don't know. I don't know. Anyways.
Let me fight a Cactuar maybe there'll be Cactuars later. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe you'll run into a Cactuar. That'd be fun.
I also watched Nimona.
Did you like it?
It was good.
Okay.
It was really cute. It was not as good as Spider-Verse. Obviously, but like I'm glad they got to make it.
Sure.
And yeah, it was just a nice little enjoyable movie for kids. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it, but it was notable and I liked it.
Sure. You liked it. It was cute. That's it.
Yeah.
I get that. That's fair.
Okay, let's talk about the news. This will go quick. There's only one major event that happened.
Oh, wow. Quiet news cycle now. Okay.
And that's the Nintendo Direct.
Oh, yeah. And really, there's only one thing in the Nintendo Direct that's truly worth talking about.
That's true. There are a few things I just want to bring up before I get to that one.
Sure. Hit me.
Pikmin 4 shown off. It looks really, really good. It's Pikmin. They were also announced Pikmin 1 and 2 on Switch. We're out now.
Okay.
I never want to play Pikmin 2 again. I might one day pick up Pikmin 1.
Sure.
But I played Pikmin 2 when it was on GameCube. I rented it and played it a couple times. But like when I was younger, I didn't really like pick up on how a game is balanced that well. I wasn't like observant for that.
I was about to ask because like I have never played a Pikmin game in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I think I played Pikmin 1. But so like what is it about Pikmin 2 that's like I never want to play it ever again?
So Pikmin 2, their big thing were these caves. You would go down to a cavern and you would bring whatever Pikmin you had with you that's what you would go down with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you couldn't go back to the onion and get more Pikmin out. And these caves were, to put it bluntly, bullshit. As in, you would be traversing the cave, and shit would just fall from the sky.
Oh, rocks fall and everybody dies?
Like bomb rocks would fall, bomb rock spiders would fall, a giant water creature with a steamroller for arms would just run you down.
Okay.
Like, bullshit. No way you could predict it without knowing it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no hint, there's no, like, sign that you need to be on your guard. Just pure, unadulterated bullshit.
Okay.
And it's full of that. Like, that's its core gimmick, is exploring these caverns to find treasure.
Oh.
Right?
And so it's just, like, unfair. It's literally just, like, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
it's just unfair. It's, like, a way to waste your time, basically.
Yeah, like, it got to the point where I remember playing it as a kid being like, I'm just going to go with Olimar and Louie solo. We're going to scout and trigger everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then go back and deal with it one at a time.
Yeah, of course.
And it's like, that's not fun.
Yeah,
that's not enjoyable.
That sounds like that sucks, actually.
Pikmin 1 And granted, it's been a while, so I might be misremembering things. But like Pikmin 1, from what I remember, was like, yeah, there was bits of bullshit, but you could kind of see them coming and like prepare for them.
Right.
Like one of the infamous ones is that there's this egg that is just sitting in the like in a circle, like in one of the maps you go to. And after a certain day, that egg will hatch and it will turn into the Smoky Prog. What the Smoky Prog does is it floats towards your base camp.
Sure.
And it will kill any Pikmin it touches.
Oh.
And it will just hang out at your base camp.
I see.
And it even affects Pikmin that are planted. Like if they're in the onion, they're safe. But if they're even planted around it, like because when you sprout them, they go in the seeds and then you pull them up to get new Pikmin.
Sure.
It'll kill the ones that are even planted.
Oh.
So if the Smoky Prog hatches, you're done for that day.
Yeah, you're done.
You're not doing
anything else. Okay.
Yeah. But it still moves very slowly. So like if it does hatch, you can see it coming and be like, all right, I'm done. Everyone get back to the ship. We are tapping out for today. So it had stuff like that, but it was like fair because you could see it coming and like plan for it. But Pikmin 2 is bullshit. It's absolute horseshit.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Mario Kart 8 is getting Petey Piranha, Wiggler, and Kamek. Kamek is notable because he was supposed to be in Mario Kart 64 and got replaced with Donkey Kong.
Oh, okay.
So now it's finally his time to shine.
Good for him.
What else did they show off? Oh, Star Ocean Second Story R remake.
Mm-hmm.
Looks phenomenal.
Yep.
Not a whole lot else. Oh, Penny's Big Breakaway looked fun.
I didn't see that one.
It was a 3D platformer from the team behind Sonic Mania. And it looks like an N64 game that you rented once and then forgot the name of, but it fundamentally changed your life forever.
Cool. I understand immediately.
You know, just like...
Yeah.
No, you've never seen anyone talk about it.
Uh-huh.
And then you find like a clip of it on YouTube someday and you're like, holy shit, that's it!
It was real. I didn't just imagine it. It's like an actual video game that I actually played. Yeah. Okay.
Like for me, that would be like Goemon or Chameleon Twist.
Yes, like it was Goemon for me as a kid too. Yeah. It was definitely Goemon. Is that one game you played like one time and then like never played it again? It's like, oh, okay, I see.
Mm-hmm. There was something else besides the big one.
The big one.
Oh, Peach game. It's Peach game. Peach is getting a game.
Peach is getting a game.
She's going to be in a game. That's it.
Good for her. She deserves another video game.
There's no title to it. Right now, it's just Untitled Peach Game.
Let's keep it that way, like Untitled Goose Game. We're just going to call it.
It's a marvelous day. It's a marvelous day in the Mushroom Kingdom, and you are a terrible princess.
Peach. Oh wait, I actually would play that though. I actually would play a game where you play as Princess Peach, just trying to like ruin everybody's day.
Could you imagine a game where she's like 12 years old?
And she's just like the most interminable little child.
She's just being a brat to like all the little toads in the Mushroom Kingdom.
I love that idea, actually.
And no one can do anything about it because she's the princess.
Yeah, like, exactly. All they can do is kind of like shoo her away with a broom and stuff.
Yeah, like her dad will throw you in prison for it if you like try anything.
So you can't do anything to her other than just kind of like shoo her off. I love that. Yeah,
that would be great. Adorable.
That's actually a great idea. Nintendo, you can have that one for free.
I mean, also besides the bigger one, Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yeah,
they're making a new Mario. Like it's not a new Super Mario Brothers. It's a new Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
There's a distinction.
After a little while, that gets a little confusing. Nintendo, yeah. You maybe shouldn't have done that, but it's fine. But it's a new Super Mario Brothers, but not like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the big thing about that one is that Daisy's playable.
Yay!
She's fine. It's never happened. She's never been playable in like a mainline Mario game.
Not like a Mario Kart or like a sports.
Yeah, not like a sports or racing or anything like that. Like, no, she's never. Because Rosalina was in 3D Land or 3D World. Wow.
Good for her. You know what?
That is the first time.
Daisy's time to shine.
It is. The only like the whole weird thing they're going for looks really interesting. You touch like a fruit, like a wonder flower, and like the pipes start like pulsing like a wave.
Yeah.
And then you can turn into an elephant.
Yeah, which is cute. I love that.
Someone pointed out the weird thing about the elephant power. It's the first time it's not a suit.
You just turn into it.
You become an elephant person.
That's a good point.
Instead of putting on like a big elephant suit with like Mario's face sticking out of it.
Yeah, that's true. I was sitting here thinking like, have any of the other? No, I guess it's kind of like a carryover from Odyssey where you're turning into things as well, kinda. Not really.
Yeah. Because you're not turning into them, you're possessing them. Like you're controlling
putting them on the hat. You're just putting the hat on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Weird. Interesting.
Weird. Anyways, the big thing.
They're remaking Super Mario RPG.
They're remaking Super Mario RPG. They're finally gonna remake the good one.
They're remaking Super Mario RPG, Sarah. They're remaking Super Mario RPG.
They're remaking. I never played it. I have such a huge gap of like knowledge when it comes to like any like SNES games and stuff. So like I've never even played it.
It is one of those games that I didn't actually own, but I played it at my friend's house so many times that it's still like all the details are still just drilled into my brain forever. Like in the trailer, I know exactly where every single scene in that trailer is taking place.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
And I have not played Mario RPG since junior high, maybe. But I'm still like, oh, I know exactly where that is. I know exactly where that is. I know exactly where that is. I know exactly what's going on in that scene.
Sure.
Oh my god. I can't believe they're remaking Super Mario RPG.
So when is it? Did they say?
November 17th.
Of this year?
Of this year.
Oh my god. And, wow, they were literally just like, yeah, we're remaking the game that like defined your childhood. Also, it's out in a couple months.
Mario Wonder is October 20th.
Oh,
that's Spider-Man Day.
No, sorry, that one's dead on arrival for the Gorge. No, because that's Spider-Man Day and it's my birthday, so I'm not gonna be playing it. You know, I'm gonna be busy partying.
Yeah, no. I'm picking Spider-Man. Like, I'm picking Spider-Man over it, but like October 21st, I'll be playing Mario Wonder.
Wow, no, it's crazy that like Mario RPG is literally coming out so soon.
It is. I could not have had a bigger smile on my face seeing, because I thought it was just gonna be we're putting Mario RPG on the Nintendo Virtual Console, like on the Switch arcade, the Switch, Virtual SNES, like we're putting Mario RPG on it, and then it's like you see the little like light flicker by, and I'm like, wait, are you really?
Wait, really?
Are you? Oh my god!
Is this for real? Suddenly, it's that bit when they announced the FF7 remake, and the guys at game trailers are standing in their chairs.
Yeah,
they're insane.
I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? You're actually remaking it?
Like, you're really gonna do it? You're pulling the trigger on that? Okay, cool. Yeah.
Like, Gino and Mallow in HD. Oh my god, I love how it looks. I love how everyone is still just like they're like flattened.
Oh yeah, it looks great. I mean, I genuinely love the way the game looks too. I'm looking forward to it. Huge Mario RPG fan, excited to play it for the first time.
Yeah.
So.
No, incredible story. Incredible mechanic. It's the progenitor of timed hits. So like.
Oh sure, yeah, of course.
And it's so unhinged.
Right.
As an art, like if you watch a trailer, you see like Yuritovich and like the enemies you fight, and it's like these things are deranged. I'm pretty sure Square Enix Squaresoft back then.
It was Squaresoft back then, yeah.
Weren't really given a lot of direction as to what Mario is.
Oh, sure. So they could just do whatever the fuck they wanted.
They were kind of given like full reign to kind of like make it up as they go. It's kind of hard to describe, but like it kind of feels like they just played the games and couldn't parse what the sprites were and kind of just had to wing it.
Sure.
But that works in its favor because that makes it so memorable.
Right, of course.
And they aren't changing anything about that from what we've seen in this trailer.
Right.
Like, it's all just gonna be the same. It's just in high-def HD models.
As long as it's like a 1-to-1 remake, then it's perfect, right? Like, that's all you want.
And that's what it seems to be. Like, we've seen, like, there's, like, a weird, like, percentage gauge, which seems to be, like, some kind of limit break, because we've seen, like cinematics of, like, Gino riding on Rainbow Road, or, like, Mallow summoning a big lightning bolt. So I'm assuming that's what that's going to lead to, is you build up the percentage meter, and then you can do, like, a big super attack.
Sure, of course.
But everything else just looks like Mario RPG.
Yeah, it's just like a nicer looking Mario RPG. Sure, perfect. Yeah, cool.
I wonder how they're going to redo the translation, because there were some things in that are probably not, you probably can't do anymore.
Sure.
Like Mallow referring to Mario as Bruce Lee.
Yeah, they're probably going to retranslate the whole thing.
They probably can't do that one. They're probably going to change that line of dialogue.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a whole bunch of, like, because, like, you know, translations back in the day were so kind of gung-ho crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, they're definitely going to retranslate that whole script, almost certainly.
Well, especially for Mario RPG, this was the era of Ted Woolsey.
Oh, that's right. Oh, God, this was the reign of Woolsey. Yeah.
He had his hands all over this.
Yeah, he did. Oh, no.
So, you know, those will probably get a few tweaks here and there, but for the most part, like, you can one-to-one it.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm just, every time I think about, they're remaking Mario RPG.
They're remaking Super Mario RPG. They're remaking
and Yoko Shimomura is coming back to redo the score.
Oh, that's great!
Yeah.
Good for her. That kicks out. Good. Awesome. Oh, man. I am excited for that then. Okay. I will. I mean, I'm not a Mario person, like, much at all, but I do want to play that one. Because, I mean, it's one of those things everybody talks about, right?
You'll really like it. You will love it. Because it is a good level, like I said, it's a good level of unhinged Mario.
Sure. Like deranged, yeah.
Mario is a punk ass in this game.
Oh, good. You love to hear it.
He is a little shit in this game sometimes. He is about to throw hands with a child at one point.
About to beat the fuck out of this 12-year-old.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, I am, oh, man. Oh my god, it's Mario RPG!
It's Mario RPG! Yeah, like, it's the game that everybody I know talks about. I know people who are having a meltdown over this announcement, so, like, yeah, I get it.
Because they were the rumor of, like, a week before the Nintendo Direct, where it's like, yeah, they're gonna announce a remake of an SNES game, of, like, of an iconic SNES game. And everyone was like, it's either Chrono Trigger or it's Mario RPG.
Sure, those are the only two options, right? Yeah. And it's probably not going to be Chrono Trigger.
It's probably not. Now, granted, that's probably down the line somewhere. Let's be honest.
I would love that.
With all of these HD 2D games that are coming out, they're running out of games to not be Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. You're just slowly whittling down to where it can only be Chrono Trigger.
Right.
And the thing is that, like, if any game deserves the Octopath Traveler or Live Alive treatment, like, it's Chrono Trigger, guys. Come on.
If you're gonna remake Chrono Trigger's progenitor,
sure,
you got to remake Chrono Trigger now.
Just go fucking bite the bullet and also do Chrono Trigger. Come on, guys, please. Yeah. Just give us that. It doesn't have to be this fancy all new model shit either. Like, I would be perfectly content with a Live Alive degree. Please.
You upscale the sprites and you add like the really, really cool HD effects to it,
and that's it. That's all we need.
And maybe if you're feeling fancy, you bite the bullet and you do voice acting.
I would love.
I would. Oh my! Can you imagine?
You would lose your mind, right? You would lose your mind if Chrono Trigger finally got some fucking voice acting.
I couldn't handle it. I
think I'd probably melt down. Yeah, I think I'd probably go insane. Mm-hmm. I would love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited to play Super Mario RPG for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anything about it. I literally know nothing about it other than the fact that it's like insane. And that one guy that everybody wanted to get into Smash Brothers is in it. And then he never got into Smash Brothers.
There's a reason everyone wants Gino to be in Smash.
Sure.
It's because he's really cool.
It's because he's cool. Yeah. I assumed so. It's just that he's in Mario RPG, a game that like is like a bajillion years old. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it.
I wish we could figure out a way. I would love for you to stream Mario RPG because I want to be there for you when you're playing it.
Sure, I would stream Mario RPG when it comes out. I don't know how we would do that with a Switch, but we'll figure something out.
You just have to get a capture card because it's all HDMI.
Sure.
You just get a capture device and then you hook it up like the way I have my, like any other console I have. It's just HDMI to the device and then to the computer.
All right, that's not too bad then. Yeah. Okay.
That would be fun. That would be really fun.
Yeah, I would give it a shot.
Next, it's time for bad news.
No, we were having such a good time.
E3 2024 and 2025 are canceled according to the Los Angeles Tourist Department.
It's so over.
It's never been more Jover than this.
Jawari Da, folks. Like, I'm so sorry. It's dead.
Man who thought it was over loses a bit more over than it was previously.
Just new and unique ways to disappoint me. I was like, okay. Because I was still this year, right? Still firmly in coping mode, right?
Right, yeah.
Just like,
all right.
It's like, okay, well, this year it didn't happen, but like maybe next year.
Maybe.
And then they literally said the next 2 years in a row are canceled. It's like, oh no, it's dead. E3 is gone forever, folks. It's never coming back. Like,
and then it just cuts to Jeff Keighley in his tower, like, tapping his fingers together and like laughing to himself.
Somehow, Jeff came out on top. I don't know how he did it. I think it was the Muppets.
Jeff Keighley wins by doing nothing.
Jeff Keighley won by default. It doesn't count, damn it.
Jeff Keighley's just that one like that Australian ice skater.
Yeah.
That just was like in first place because everyone else fell over.
Everybody else fell over. Yeah, that's totally it. Like he's just coasting by because everybody else kind of shat the bed at the same time. It's like, oh, okay. And Summer of Gaming is here to stay now.
I guess.
Fucking Summer Games Fest is our new E3. I might as well just die.
Summer Games Fest is your new dad.
Oh, no. Things would be different if E3 was my dad. Like... This is so sad. E3 went to the store to get cigarettes and never came back. And then Mom met this new guy named Jeff, and I hate him. And it's not the same. He keeps calling me Slugger. I hate him.
Jeff Keighley kneeling down and putting a hand on your shoulder and calling you Sport.
Hey, Sport, I'm going to be your new dad. And I'm like, I want my dad.
It's like, Jeff's like, I don't want you to think of me as your dad. I want you to think of me as your buddy.
As your friend. I'm like, you will never be my friend, Jeff. Because the thing is, Jeff Keighley is, by all accounts, a good guy, mostly. Yeah. Right? But it's like... But I don't want Jeff Keighley to be my dad. I don't want Jeff Keighley to marry my mom. So, like... I hate him on principle, I want my dad to come back from getting cigarettes. I want E3 to come back. Is this so wrong? Like, nothing will ever be the same again. Oh, to have the days where we were complaining about long, boring Sony conferences where there's a guy playing a flute on a stage. I would give anything for a guy to be playing a flute on a stage in Los Angeles now.
Remember that time they made people, like, the entire crowd go to a different building?
For each of, like, their presentations and stuff. And it was like, that's so stupid. And now, sitting here in 2023, I'm like, I would give anything for that again.
I would give anything for a bunch of reviewers and journalists to be miserable having to shuffle to an entirely new warehouse.
Absolutely. Shuffling between warehouses in the Los Angeles heat to watch a white guy in a yukata play a flute for 25 minutes.
To get dunked on by a bunch of, like, plastic rose, like, sakura petals.
Yeah.
And then have to go to a place with a bunch of Halloween decorations, like, cackling and going off.
Sounds great. To have those days back. Never again will we have, like, weirdos dancing on stage at the Microsoft show and we're all going, why is this here?
What game is this for?
What is the purpose of this? And then they tell you it's for Forza and you're like, what?
What?
Okay.
What? When are we gonna... We're never gonna get a car on stage to advertise Forza.
Oh, God, you're right. We're never gonna get a car on stage ever again. This is so sad. It's just so depressing.
This is a bummer.
Truly, truly. Everything you loved is gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sad... COVID took everything from us. And at the end of it all, it also took E3. It's like, man, okay, fine.
This is the real long COVID.
This is the real long COVID. The real long COVID was the E3 we didn't have along the way.
Mm-hmm. The slow, painful death of E3.
Well, it's completely over now, folks. All of our dreams of going to E3 when we were children remain unfulfilled forever.
It ain't gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen. Man, that's probably the most depressing part of all of it, is that, like, you know, when you're like a teenager. Yeah, sure. If you're like a video game person, when you were a teenager, like, you're like our age, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the one thing you always wanted to do was just go to E3. Like, you knew that the waits were long, and, like, you didn't really get to see that much because all the cool shit was in behind closed door conferences and stuff like that. But,
the thing is, if we had gone to E3, we would have been fucking bored.
Sure, we would have been fucking bored. You stand in a line for 2 hours to play a 15-minute demo for fucking, I don't know, bullshit, right? For some fucking Halo game.
We would have... In the world where you and I could have gone to E3, we would have gone to E3, talked about how fucking amazing E3 was, and then 5 years later, finally admit to ourselves, that sucked and was a huge waste of money. We should not have done that.
But listen, shut up. It was fun, though. Like, that's the thing. And it's like, oh, well, we'll never have... They even took the bad experience away from us, damn it. So... You know, it's just the worst possible news. Anything. Can't have shit in Detroit. Can't have shit in video games.
Speaking of can't have shit, the Witcher producers tease meta transition from Liam Hemsworth's Geralt. Is he gonna fucking regenerate?
He's gonna regenerate like the fucking Doctor.
What do you mean? What do you mean meta transition? Is halfway through the season, is it going to be like, you can now play as Liam Hemsworth?
Yeah, it's like an alternate skin for Geralt, right?
Yeah, like, is Geralt going to go to the DLC shop?
He goes to the DLC shop. You know how, like, in Resident Evil 2, the remake, you can play as, like, the 1990s version of Claire and Leon? Like, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get to go and just swap to the less attractive version of Geralt now. And unfortunately, you're gonna be stuck with him.
He's gonna put the Octo Camel mask on and turn into Liam Hemsworth. What do you fucking mean meta transition? What does that mean?
I don't know. What's gonna happen is he's gonna get bitten by a sexy lady whose power is that it can make your face change, and he's gonna get stuck like that. That's my thing. That's my prediction. He's gonna get poisoned with like a shape-shifting juice or something. Then his face is gonna change. Did
you see the clip as to how Solar Opposites is replacing Justin Roiland?
No.
the guy that he voiced gets shot in the throat. And they shoot him. They fix him with like a throat healing ray, but it was defective, so it changes his voice.
Great. Perfect.
And the narration talks like, yeah, it also had like a temporal field on it, so even in flashbacks I'll talk like this now.
Great. Perfect. That's it.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how you do it. So, like, no, this is, sure, Netflix. You know, okay.
Whatever.
This your bad Witcher show that you're just burning money on now.
The role of Geralt will now be played by Liam Hemsworth.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah, that's all you just at the start of the thing. Just have a little subtitle at the bottom.
That's it. Oh, God. Anyways.
Next, Skullgirl players in shambles after devs hide butt and nuke Nazi references.
Oh, well, they'll get over it. I saw that.
This is a rough day for people with Pepe avatars who have 0 hours on Skullgirls.
Yeah, this is like 9/11 for guys who call like 12-year-old girls in animes their waifu. You know, like truly the darkest of all timelines.
Yeah, the worst possible thing you could ever happen. It could ever happen in Skullgirls is a 16-year-old girl's skirt is now 0.1% longer.
Yeah, and they took out the Nazi costume. Oh no.
Oh no. They also the only thing that's like of actual substance that was removed of it was they took out one of the announcer packs because it was Mike Z.
Oh well, who cares?
And they wanted to not have Mike Z in the game anymore. So
stunning! They don't want their shithead old boss to be in the video game that he almost ruined. Wow! So, imagine.
You know.
Wow. But right now, unfortunately, Skullgirls has like overwhelmingly negative reviews on Steam. But whatever. Yeah. If you look at the discrepancy between like the current number of reviews and like what it's had in the past, you're like, oh, okay, this is just review bombing. Who cares? The
one thing I do find kind of weird is them altering like concept art and like because like that's a little. Like, yeah, just leave it. It's a little weird because, like, obviously you're changing the concept art. Like, just leave the concept art and add a note that's like, yeah, we decided to lengthen the skirt a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Like, we made a decision. It's one thing to remove it like in to alter costumes like in game or like in in cutscenes or whatever. But it's like to do it in the bonus material concept art, like here's our old sketches of the characters, is a little like you didn't have to go that far, but whatever.
Yeah, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal either. Yeah, exactly. So, guys who have never played Skullgirls are now just gnashing their teeth and tearing at their hair. Yeah, because Skullgirls did something. Who cares?
Next, Microsoft wanted to acquire Square Enix as part of plan for mobile Game Pass.
I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. They also try to buy. Didn't they also talk about buying Sega?
Yeah, they tried. Okay.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
So this is very funny to me because, like, one, we've talked about this before. One, obviously, this was just them like discussing plans, but it is very funny to me. Yeah. But two, and even funnier, is this notion that like, well, we're going to try and buy Square Enix or Squaresoft, I guess, back in the day. Or we're going to buy Sega. And the thing is that like American devs just don't get is that like buying a Japanese company, if it's a big one, you're not just buying their video game properties. You're also buying like 2,500 square feet of real estate in Tokyo.
Yeah,
right.
They're not going to
because they've got like not just their offices, but like Square Enix has a cafe in Akihabara, right? Like you also buy all of that shit, guys.
It's kind of like a company town in there.
Like you're not just buying, like you're buying like Sega branded arcades and stuff in Akiba. Or you're buying again like the Square Enix cafe. I think there's two. There's one in Akihabara and there's one in Shinjuku, I think. And you're buying like that real estate that's also really expensive. Like you're buying a whole hell of a lot more than you realize. You're biting off more than you can chew. And I suppose that's why Microsoft backed down, or might have been laughed out of the building like they were with Nintendo. But yeah, no, it's very funny to me, this like notion that Microsoft is just like, we can just buy everything, right? No, you can't.
it's this notion, like this notion of them in the past being like, we can buy Square Enix and Sega, to now being like, no, but we're small and we're weak. We can't maintain. We can't beat out Sony and Nintendo anymore. We need help.
Yeah, it's what I'm calling Xbox's poor little meow meow defense that is not working at all. Because we have, like, the thing is that there has been a very the case with the FTC has been very illuminating about, like, how the video game industry works. But a thing that, like, came up was Microsoft complaining in, like, emails found in Discovery, still found in Discovery with Sony about how, like, they paid money to keep certain things off of the Xbox, right? Mm-hmm. And at the time, and I was talking about this on Twitter, when that came out, there were a lot of people saying, like, well, yeah, it's obvious that Sony is the bad guy in this situation. And then a few days later, it also turned out that Microsoft was trying to buy out a bunch of companies and was talking about outspending their opposition, the competition to death, right? Like, and it's like, no, the thing is, they're both bad guys. Like, that's what companies are. They're bad. They're not people. Like, they're not characters in your stories that you can root for. They're companies, and they're doing what they have to do to make money. They're not good guys. Like, yeah, Sony paid money to keep exclusives off of Microsoft consoles. Microsoft is talking about outspending Sony to death. Like, that's just what the industry is. And, like, rooting for one against the other, like, picking a side in that is juvenile. It makes you sound like a child.
These console fanboys are...
It's weird.
It's so pathetic.
It's extremely pathetic because, like, I was a console fangirl when I was 13. And then I grew up. Like, I became an adult woman. With preferences, sure, but not like ride or die for Sony, right? I'm like, I just prefer my PS5, right?
When it happened for me?
Yeah.
$599 US.
$599 US.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm not getting a PS3 then. I'm getting an Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. I can afford an Xbox. Like, I was always a Sony person. Yeah. And then the PS3 was really expensive. And then when the PS4 came out and was affordable again, I was like, okay, well, I'll get a PS4 now.
We switched. It just, whichever console is the one that's preferable at the time.
The one that I can afford and the one that has, like, the most games on it that I want to play. That's it.
Yeah, and it just so happens that the past two have been Sony.
Yeah.
Because the PS5 blows the Xbox Series out of the water.
Which is really sad because the PS5 also has no video games on it.
Yeah. It really, that's the other thing. Yeah, neither of them have a lot going for them right now.
Yeah. But at least the PS5 has FF16. But
at least I also bought the PS5 because it can play all the games I already own.
Yeah, exactly. I already own all those PS4 games, but now they'll run a little bit better. And also my PS4 sounds like a jet every time I turn it on. Yeah. I would really like a console that doesn't do that. Although, it does that now with 16. We're not going to talk about that.
Right. But
that's a whole other episode.
I'm like, why is my 16 so quiet? All the volume's turned up. Oh, it's my PS5.
Yeah, it's your PS5 again. We're here. We're already here again. It's only been like 2 years. It's like,
it's not like 16 even looks that graphics intensive. So whatever.
That's a whole other bugaboo.
Yeah.
Video games optimization is fucked, folks.
The point is, Microsoft, you were never going to buy Square Enix. Are you fucking kidding me?
No,
they're not going to do that.
They're not. They're a clown shoes company that doesn't know what they're doing.
Japanese people will not buy an Xbox for Final Fantasy. They'll just stop buying Final Fantasy.
Yeah, like, that's just not... They just don't want an Xbox, It was an actual miracle
that Tales of Vesperia did as well as it did.
Sure, yeah. And it did really well, but then what happened is that it came out on the PS3 and it made a lot of people really mad because they basically paid for the beta version of Tales of Vesperia.
Yeah. Paid for this bullshit.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Next, Bloober Team is done making psychological horror games. What?
So
hey, Bloober Team. I don't know if you know this. You're in the middle of making the most iconic psychological horror game of all time.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by this?
So what are you talking about? Yeah, this is like nothing quite makes me feel, and we've talked about this extensively vis-a-vis the Silent Hill 2 remake, but like nothing makes me feel more existentially bad than the Silent Hill 2 remake. Like already, like just looking at it, it really kind of fills me with a sort of a Silent Hill-esque dread, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's always like this. Like looking at it, I just look at it and I hate it. It just triggers all of these very like visceral disgust reactions. Like I just want to throw up on its shoes.
Yeah.
And then hearing Bloober say like, yeah, we want to make our game speak through our actions.
Here is a quote from studio co-founder. That is the worst possible thing you can say as a company that ostensibly is trying to be creative.
Sure.
Okay. Quote: "This year is like closing the era on making psychological horror games." Right, and studio co-founder Peter Babiano told Engadget, "Right now we are going into Bloober Team 3.0, making mass market horror."
Yeah, totally, bro.
You don't say it's mass market horror.
You're not supposed to admit that you're making it for the lowest common denominator, you stupid fuck.
You're not like you don't open your restaurant and say, "We're very excited to be McDonald's."
Yeah, you don't admit out loud that you're making content for the fucking rubes, you stupid shithead. Like, are you brain dead? Are you really just gonna openly admit that you're gonna make fucking Marvel movies for horror games? Like, what is going on over there?
What is wrong with you?
You don't say it out loud, dipshit.
You say that to investors in a boardroom. You don't put that in your interview while you're remaking Silent Hill 2.
You're remaking fucking Silent Hill 2, and you're like, yeah, we want to make a mass market horror game of like the least mass market friendly horror game ever, right? Like,
what the fuck is your problem?
I don't know. I hate this. I hate those fucking hack frauds. I'm pissed that I got tricked into buying the first Layers of Fear game because somebody told me it was a good video game. So I have at some point in my life given Bloober Team $17.
So here's the thing, all right? Mm-hmm. Here's the thing, is that this is not we're switching gears after Silent Hill 2.
No, they're saying it in the middle of fucking making Silent Hill 2.
They're saying, here's a quote from the article, Silent Hill 2 will be the public's first taste of Bloober's redirection. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I can't wait for James to have a fucking dodge roll like Silent Hill Homecoming. It's gonna be great.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're gonna fucking do. It's gonna be great. Don't worry about it. It's gonna sell 25 million copies. I'm gonna go out back and fucking walk into the sea.
They're turning Silent Hill into The Last of Us.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely The Last of Us. Yeah, totally.
That's the most I could, like, the worst I can say about it is that they're going to turn Silent Hill 2 into The Last of Us.
Yeah, like all of the kind of mechanical jankiness of Silent Hill 2 that like gives it its identity, you know, all of the weird shit, all of the bad combat and the weird camera angles and the fucking stiff controls and the inscrutable puzzles, right? They're gonna take all of that out and they're just gonna make it like super fucking palatable for Joe dipshit, right? Who can just play like, this is just like Last of Us 2.
So here's another quote, and it's going to hurt to say it.
I don't want to hear it.
Quote, we decided that our next titles should be more mass market oriented. We'd like to talk with more people. We'd like to deliver our ideas with our DNA, not by environment or storytelling, but by action. So all of our future titles will have a lot of gameplay mechanics. They will be much bigger. It's horror!
It's a horror game, you stupid assholes.
The ratio, every video game genre has a ratio of aesthetics and story versus gameplay. Mm-hmm. All right? And those are weighted accordingly, right? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, your average Mario game, really low on the story, really high on the gameplay.
Right.
Survival horror, psychological horror, any horror, it's like 80% environment because it's supposed to be scary.
It's extremely vital that you focus on the environment because you're supposed to be afraid of your environment. That's like the whole fucking point. Yeah, I know.
You're not making a horror game at that point. Then you're making
The Last of Us.
You're making fucking like like The Last of Us or fucking Alan Wake. Like, and I like Alan Wake, but that wasn't trying to be a horror game.
No, it was trying to just be like a psychological thriller, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference between a horror and a thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. It's bleak.
Sarah, can you wait for the crafting mechanics in Silent Hill 2?
Ben, are you trying to make me kill myself?
You know what's going to be great in Silent Hill 2 is your mini-map.
We gotta get out of this conversation. This one actually makes me like feel bad. I don't like talking about Silent Hill 2. It genuinely makes me never want to play video games again. Like, the existence of the Silent Hill 2 remake puts me off of video games because I'm like, this is just, I'm like, because like what it does in my head is just make me go like, this is an industry that has already reached its creative like apex. Like, it's completely creatively bankrupt at this point. It can't make anything new and good. I know that's not true, obviously, but like when I think about the Silent Hill 2 remake, all I can think is that like, this is a civilizational dead end, right?
Yeah,
this is a lost belt, and we should just prune it.
You are taking something that was the exact antithesis of mass market.
Sure, absolutely weird, and so you're taking something that was like weird and unrefined, but like made with a lot of heart and love and passion, and sanding all of its edges off.
You are making Silent Hill 2 was based on playing as a character that you eventually come to terms with is a fucking irredeemable monster.
Sure.
And deserves all the bad shit that's happening to it.
Sure.
Right? And coming to terms with that as someone who has played video games before and is like, no, but it's me. I'm the main character. I want to succeed. And coming to grips with the fact that no, he's a James Sunderland fucking sucks.
He fucking sucks is the thing. Like, he's not a good person. He did a really bad thing, and like he has like, that's the whole idea is that James is not like your mass market fucking protagonist. Yeah. Like, and it's not, this isn't fucking Joel from The Last of Us, right? This is like a normal fucking schmuck guy who killed his wife because she got terminally ill and wouldn't fuck him anymore.
Yeah.
Right? That's his whole thing.
The twisting of James Sunderland is that he's like, it could happen. There could be a guy that's this fucked up and deranged.
You know a guy like this.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize it yet, but you know a guy like this. You know people like James. You don't know guys like Joel from The Last of Us.
You don't know like hardened survivors. They don't exist. They're turning James into the fucking Game Informer artwork.
Yeah, it sucks that I don't want to talk about this anymore. I actually would like to get out of this conversation ASAP.
Do you want some good news?
Yes, please, God.
Valve's report is banning video games featuring AI generated content.
Yay! An unambiguous W for Valve. That's rare.
Valve's like, if you can't prove you own all the material, get the fuck off of our system.
And I mean, that totally makes sense, right? Because AI is, and they've already ruled, like, this has already been ruled on in other countries, that, like, because AI has to be, is trained on other people's copyrighted material, right? Like, and because it's not a derivative work made by another person, it's literally just a machine regurgitating other people's copyrighted material, it would itself be in violation of copyright.
We gotta stand up and applaud and give our salutes to Naruto the monkey.
That's correct.
He did it. He's the reason.
He did it.
Unless it's made by a person, you can't copyright it.
Unless it's made by a person, that's right. So, yeah. So it's just like, no, I don't blame Valve for kicking those fucking scumbags off. Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Hurt AI content more.
Yeah, I mean, it's already kind of a creative dead end. Like, it's definitely new hotness right now. But
did you see the thing where, like, because it's infesting so many like art, like DeviantArt and whatnot, it's starting to cannibalize itself.
Yes, because like it's literally they're scanning each other.
Yeah,
and reproducing like more and more like all of the flaws of AI art, which is obviously what was always going to happen.
So what that means is we're eventually going to get back to we're gonna cycle back to the really fucked up early AI art.
Yeah, where like it didn't have fingers and stuff.
It didn't actually know what Shrek looked like.
Yeah.
And so you just got this like weird goblin monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait for that.
I can't wait because like that's obviously what it's going to be, especially as like other artists, like human artists, actual artists, I should say, start like protecting their art. Like, because people use Glaze these days. It's like it's a program you can run your art through. Yeah. It makes it impossible for AI to scrape from it, right? And more people are using like Glaze and stuff to protect their shit, right?
You're covering your food in saran wrap so the ants can't get it.
Yeah, exactly. And people are putting Glaze on their art, and it's keeping AI from scraping off their art, which means that the only thing that AI can scrape off is each other, and so they're just infinitely replicating their own flaws forever, basically reducing the technology down to just like being useless.
Yeah, so good. The more companies that decide to actively ban it, the better. The better.
The faster. Yeah.
Next, a troll challenged the world's greatest Mortal Kombat player, and it goes about how you would expect.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite stories of the last week. It kicks ass. So this fucking dipshit. So Sonic Fox, I actually know this one because I paid attention to it. So Sonic Fox gets on, like the Sonic Fox, the best Mortal Kombat player in the world, gets on Twitter and he says like, "Hey, I'm playing in a chess tournament for charity." And it turns out he's also good at chess because of course he is. Of course they are. Excuse me. Yeah. And so so Sonic Fox gets on Twitter and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna play a chess tournament for charity. I have a pretty good chance of winning it because of course they're also good at chess." And this fucking goober gets on Twitter and just starts talking shit and saying that like they would say like, "Oh, I'll mop the floor with you," and blah blah blah. And Sonic Fox responds with, "Okay, money match me, bro. If you beat me, I'll pay you $10,000. And if you lose, you have to become a furry." And then Sonic Fox proceeded to like cartoonishly humiliate this dipshit in front of thousands of people.
Did you watch the fight at all?
Yeah, where he stops and does a mercy.
They do a fucking mercy.
Yeah. So if you don't know, there's a thing in Mortal Kombat where if you look like you're about to do a fatality, because like in like competitive Mortal Kombat, people really don't do fatalities.
Yeah, they just skip them.
They just skip them
because it's over. It's good rematch. Get into the next.
Yeah,
fight.
Just get to the next fight. It's kind of rude, if you kind of respect your opponent, you don't do it because you're just kind of drawing it out at that point, right? Mm-hmm. It's like throwing the baseball bat in baseball, right? Like you don't do it. So yeah, the deal is that there's another thing you can do called a mercy, where if it looks like you can do a fatality, instead the character like helps that character out of the fatality state and gives them a little bit of health back, right? Yeah. And so Sonic Fox beats this guy into fatality state, gets him out of it, beats him back into it, And then, like, while this is all going on, he opens the window and starts scrolling through his move list looking for the inputs to do the fatality. Even though this motherfucker knows absolutely how to do the inputs for a fucking fatality, right?
I don't know if they do, though, because, like, they don't do them.
Yeah, but you know they've played the game enough, right? Like, come on. So this is just flexing at this point. And then absolutely just clowns this guy up and down the paint. And dipshit tries to back out, of course. So he tries to duck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now everybody is insisting this guy's persona is a duck. Because,
of course.
He ducked out of the match. Extremely funny.
Did you watch the stream from Braden Ninja's account?
No.
He was almost in tears getting his shit kicked in. He's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in here anymore. I don't want to play this.
Don't talk shit then, idiot. To the best Mortal Kombat player on the internet.
Like, what did you think? Did you think you could beat Sonic Fox?
Well, if you're gonna go on Twitter, like, it's one thing to go on Twitter and just be an asshole to Sonic Fox. People do that all the time.
Yeah, of course.
But, like, you can't go on Twitter and say you'll beat Sonic Fox. Because you won't.
It's every so often, Sonic Fox is like the huge guy at the bar that every so often someone will, like, talk shit about.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time they'll ignore him. Every so often, they have to stand up and knock that guy's lights out to remind everyone why they don't get bothered.
It makes me think of, you know, when you've been playing Fallout 4 for like 1,600 hours and you're walking around the Commonwealth in like XO1 power armor with like 1,500 mini nukes in your back pocket,
mm-hmm.
and some raiders are like, get him!
Yeah, yeah.
It's that,
mm-hmm.
you know? That's what happened.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. When you're when you're equipped with your explosive shotgun,
yeah,
and you shoot someone and they ragdoll 20 feet away,
and like all in their body explodes into like blood and chunks. Yeah,
Sonic Fox granting mercy though is just like that fucking God of War Ragnarok thing where Thor kills you and he's like, "No, I say when we're done."
Yeah, exactly. Jeez.
It's just when Goku grabbed Frieza by the neck and started slapping him across the face.
Yeah. It's brutal. It's so cruel, and I love it.
Don't
get on somebody fucking talking on their Twitter about like doing a charity chess match. Like that's what incenses you so badly.
Yeah.
Is that like Sonic Fox is gonna go play some chess for charity?
For like 2 days afterward, this guy was like, "Yeah, 1v1 me in Valorant, bro. I beat you in Valorant, though."
Uh-huh.
Just like the most coping.
Nobody has ever coped
imagine.
harder than this fucking guy. I do respect the fact that I think he still has his Twitter account up, though.
It's impressive that he can tweet through it.
You know what, bro? You just keep on tweeting through it. I'm sure one day you'll come out on top.
I would have deleted my account, deleted my Twitch account, and
changed my name. No, I would change my name. I would move different cities. I would grow a beard, right?
Yeah.
I would literally do anything to make sure that nobody knew who the fuck I was.
Right.
But no, man, just keep on tweeting through it. I'm sure one day you're gonna look like the cool one and not the guy who, has to have a duck persona now.
Now the epilogue of this story is in like 5 years from now. He gets into Evo, and his first match in Mortal Kombat 12 is with Sonic Fox.
Sure, and he still gets his ass.
And then he's like, "Oh man, oh no,
I don't want to be here anymore." He just shits and pisses himself and dies. Yeah.
2 more things. These are very small ones. Avatar: The Last Airbender: Quest for Balance announced for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
What?
They found a PS2 game, and they threw it in a time machine to the future of 2023.
That's amazing.
Because this is a PS2 game.
It's a PS2 game, yeah.
It's an Avatar game.
Yeah, like, who is this for?
They're bringing back your licensed PS2 platformer made by some dev that no one knows about, and they have like 2 other games to their name, and they never made anything after it.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's what a weird thing to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2023. I don't think we needed a new Avatar: The Last Airbender game.
They're really capitalizing on that live action Netflix show that looks really, really bad. I
guess they are.
That's probably why this exists, is to like capitalize on that Netflix show. But that Netflix show looks really bad, folks.
Quick side note, did you see the One Piece trailer?
Yeah.
That looks creepy. That looks really unsettling.
How do I feel about the One Piece trailer? The One Piece trailer is very unsettling looking. I feel really bad because, yet again, these are actors who are, like, probably actually pretty well cast.
Yeah. They're very enthusiastic about being in this thing that should not at all be live action whatsoever.
Sure. But, like, the thing to me that, like, really makes me scratch my head, more so than anything, and this is such a weird thing, but, like, sit with me here.
Okay.
What is going on with that show's color grade?
That's why it looks so unsettling. It's colored like a horror production.
Like, why is it so brown and yellow? Because, like, when I think of One Piece, I think blue, right?
Yeah, I think of bright red, yellow, blue, and red.
Yeah, like, I think of the primary colors because they're Luffy's colors for one.
Yeah.
But also, like, the setting of the game, of the manga, like,
it's oceans.
It's set in oceans. Literally, the first arc is set in East Blue.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you think of, like, bright blue oceans and expanses of water and colors and all that stuff. Like, you know, you think of lightness and blue and the sky and the water, you know, all of this stuff. So, like, this grade should be, like, that's the thing that really, because, like, the show is always going to be bad. But, like, it could have at least been more aesthetically cohesive, kind of like the Cowboy Bebop show, which, like, is a bad show, but not because of its aesthetics, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, it could have been more aesthetically cohesive, and at least then you would have something interesting to look at. But, like, I watched that trailer, and the only thing I could think the whole time was, like, why is everything so brown? Like, why? Like, what is this weird foreboding color grade? It looks like fucking The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, it looks like a horror parody of One Piece.
It's
you know,
weird.
like those weird like Winnie the Pooh things, like the Grinch that came out.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's very strange to me. I don't know. Yeah, I think it looks very bad. I feel really bad because I think the characters are all extremely well cast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like looking at that Buggy at all.
No, he's like a terrifying clown man.
Horrifying fucking clown man.
You know, everyone talks about like stretching is going to look weird, and it does look really weird.
It does look really weird.
Buggy's powers should never be in live action.
No,
that's gonna be horrific to behold. Are you kidding me? No.
Yeah. So I just no, thank you, folks.
No.
So no, that's the point. The Avatar show looks really bad. The One Piece show looks really, really bad.
Mm-hmm. You know what looks good though?
What?
Tsukihime, a piece of blue glass moon coming to They're putting that thing on the PS4 and the Switch.
Okay, for one, extremely funny that the fucking AX stream, like the goddamn Anime Expo stream of the Type Moon show, stopped before the Tsukiri announcement. Like, it cut off.
Oops.
So, like, oops. But 2, no, I'm losing my mind. Like, this is a big one. This is, like, the thing I never thought would happen. Like, it's the whole reason I hounded everybody to buy MiHoYo. It's the whole reason that you convince yourself that buying Saint Quartz and FGO is worth it. Because if you just spend enough money on these godforsaken Type Moon franchises, one day they'll translate the Tsukihime remake. And then they did.
Then they did it.
And now they're doing it, and it comes out second quarter next year. What? What do you mean? What do you mean there's going to be an officially licensed way to read fucking Tsukihime?
What? Yeah. Wait,
huh?
What?
Yeah, no. This is like... I can't even... I don't know. I don't know how to express the magnitude. If you're listening to this podcast, you understand the magnitude of it because you're one of the psychos who's obsessed with like Type Moon shit like me. But like, This is such a big fucking deal. This is like MiHoYo. I hadn't even played MiHoYo, but I bought it because I wanted to be like, here, just take my fucking money and give me Tsukihime. I didn't think it would work.
Yeah.
I'm like the dog that caught the mailman right now, okay? Right. I'm just like, what? You mean buying MiHoYo worked? Huh?
We did it?
We did it?
I didn't expect to get this far.
I didn't think I would get this far. I'll be real with you. So yeah. Tsukihime Remake Real. It's coming out in English. It's actually happening, folks. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We're getting a basically simultaneous release for Fate, Samurai Remnant. Like, Type Moon shit is just coming out now.
We're just getting Type Moon stuff now.
We just get Type Moon shit on a normal... I assume at some point the Fate Extra remake is going to come out. I hope so. And, like, that's going to come out, and we'll probably get that simultaneous with the Japanese release. I don't know what's going on anymore with my life. I mean, I'm happy, mind you, because I love Type Moon. But I don't know. Please look forward to That's the Moon you're walking into here.
That's the moon you're flying toward.
I don't know anymore. I can't wait to play Tsukihime and tell you about it. This does make me really want to play the original version, though. Like, Rosie in the Discord is always giving me a hard time, being like, you should play Tsukihime in 1999. I was like, no. But now I'm like, but what if I did, though?
But what if?
But what if I did, though? Because I want to see the janky old version. Because, like, we were talking about this earlier. Like, so Tsukihime Remake does, obviously, because it's out on the Nintendo Switch, does not have all of the horny, perverted, insane shit that the original game has, because it can't. It still has like some of the blood and the gore, and like it has sex scenes that do kind of a fade to black thing that have kind of like implied stuff going on.
Right.
But it doesn't do like just like the like horny arrow-gate like actual porn shit that the original Tsukihime did. Right. They did that with Fate Stay Night as well.
Yeah. It's that thing where you forget that Fate is a hentai until like it actually shows up.
Until you're actually playing, you're like, oh god, those are titties. Okay. But like I do want to read that and see that. Because one, Kinako Nasu is a lunatic, and I want to see that. And two, Tsukihime is weird. That protagonist is like a weird, fucked up guy. So and so kind of like in the same way that like the sex scenes in Heaven's Feel are actually kind of important. You actually kind of need the sex scenes in Heaven's Feel because like Heaven's Feel is a weird, horny nightmare. Because it's like it's just that's what's going on with Sakura. Yeah. You know, that's just what's going on.
She's a weird, horny girl.
She's a weird, horny girl with a lot of problems, and she alleviates them in very specific ways. So you need those sex scenes. And in the same way, like Tsukihime has like a weird, fucked up protagonist. So I kind of want to read it just for that. So who knows? I'm buying Umineko at the end of this week. I'm buying the second part of Umineko at the end of this week. I might as well just make peace with the fact that I'm like a visual novel person now.
I guess so.
It's fine. Please look forward to me finally reading MiHoYo once I'm done with Umineko. Right? And be like, this is just what I'm doing with my life now.
Just get all three of them.
Just get all of it. Finish Umineko, read MiHoYo, finish actually doing my fucking Fate Stay Night read through, because it's still on my computer. I still have Fate Stay Night on my computer. Yeah, I don't know. what is happening to me?
Yeah.
I have the house in Fata Morgana on my fucking Steam wish list too. And it's on sale on Steam sale too. I'm like, what if I just bought it right now? It's on sale as well. What if I just lost my mind and just bought a bunch of visual novels? I don't know. So, anyways, I can't believe the fucking Tsukihime remake is real and it's coming out in the United States. You're going to be able to play a Tsukihime visual novel on your Nintendo Switch.
That's fucking bananas.
It's cuckoo bananas. I don't know what's going on anymore. We live in an extremely strange timeline.
That's it.
That's it. We're done. Get me out of here. Cool.
Right.
Good. I'm glad to end on a good news instead of the stuff that makes me want to be dead.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
All right. Thank you to DJ Cutman for use of background music. Follow me on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. Email Sara at radioinactivity. You can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. And you can join our Discord.
That's right. Please join our Discord.
You can play FF14 with us, where we do occasionally get together and do a bunch of raids and stuff. And
we try to do Savage raids for old Savage raids. We're not good enough for current content Savage raids. I'm not, anyways. I know some people are. But we do old raids. We do treasure maps. We glam farm. We hang out. It's a good time.
It's fun.
We bully people in the server who aren't playing Final Fantasy 14 to play Final Fantasy 14. So,
and it works.
And it works. Yeah. It's really fun. So you should join the Discord. And then you too can also freak out about Fate and Tsukihime with us. Because again, the Tsukihime remake. What?
It's real.
It's real.
Yeah. All right.
Fuck Bloober Team.
Fuck Bloober Team. That's it.
That's it. Because again, I don't want to go. I don't want to go into it too much.
I don't want to get into it.
I can't. If I met the guy, wow, they're already shooting fireworks off on your side of the world.
Yes, they are.
I heard that. If I met the guys who are in charge of Bloober Team on the street, it's on site.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to restrain myself. So
we've been making, for every bad Silent Hill game, we've been making the joke. It's just like being in Silent Hill because it's miserable.
That's right.
But this is actually, you are paying for your hubris of enjoying Silent Hill by having this watered down garbage experience.
Foisted in front of you. I will never play it, but its mere existence makes me unhappy.
Yeah.
For me, it's always like this.
Yep. There you go. Good
night, everyone.